Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to pull up our slides. Great. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is the Employer Insights webinar behind the yes, what international students and students also need to know to succeed in recruitment. We have a very big group today, so very excited to introduce our speakers and get our content started. But before we do that, I'd just like to share a little bit of housekeeping. So this event is brought to you by Devant. My name is Sisha Maharaj. I'm a senior consultant, business development and external relations. And this is our team. We are here to support you to be successful in your job search. And we offer free events every week on Wednesdays from 7 until 8 Eastern Standard Time. So just to give you a little bit of logistics, all participants are muted and you don't need to use your video. The session is recorded, so you will get access to the recording if you have signed up and attended. Also, please use the Q&A function to post your questions. And I would encourage you to do that, throughout the session. I will sort through them. You can also like the questions you want me to ask in order. And then finally, we have a great lineup of events. I will host a number of other events coming up, but I am going to highlight a very great event coming up on June 18th as well. So for those of you who are joining Devon for the first time, we help over 55,000 international students and newcomers to get hired in Canada. We also offer this opportunity for all communities locally as well. We offer free actionable advice from career coaches and industry experts, like our two experienced recruiters who are here today to talk to you. We offer the latest AI-driven tools to polish your resume, your interview skills, and get you up-to-date labor market information. And finally, we help to connect you with employers, partners, and help you in your immigration academic life as well. Just going to try to go to the next slide. Wonderful. So, for what you have all signed up for, I'm so excited to welcome you back, Paul Sims, our Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist and a Human Capital Specialist at Optimus SBR, as well as Anna Oroskovas-Kulis, Talent Acquisition Partner at TMX. We've had some conversations back and forth in the past and online, and I can't believe we're finally here for our live event. So on behalf of Devant and the students, newcomers, and our community, welcome to this webinar and our Q&A with you both. So let's start off with maybe some introductions. Maybe Paul, you are a known speaker with Devant. We're so happy to have you back. You have assisted so many with your advice in the past, and I'm really excited to hear what's happening with you as well as at Optimus SBR. But maybe I can pass it to you first. Please give us a little bit of an introduction, and for those who have never met you before, please let them know a little bit about, Optimus SBR and a little bit about your background and your passion for recruitment.
Thanks, Sisha. It's always a pleasure to come to one of your events. My name is Paul Sims. My pronouns are he, him. I've been recruiting for close to 30 years. I work mostly in consulting and banks. I met Trisha, I don't know, some 20 something years ago at CIBC when we worked together at CIBC. So I work at CIBC, Scotiabank, and Royal Bank, and I did Deloitte, Accenture, Capco, Sapient, and now I'm at another consulting company called Optimus SBR. We're no different from like one of the big fours, a bit smaller. So I hire you as a consultant and let me send you to one of our clients. Today I will talk about some of the openings that we have. But yeah, my job is to, that's all I've done in my career is recruiting, mostly IT recruiting. So I'll help as much as I can. The last time I gave my LinkedIn address and people, I had a couple of hundred requests for LinkedIn. A lot of people sent me their resumes for opportunities. Sometimes I don't have them, but I know people who have them. So always willing to help. My passion is helping people. You probably heard about the company Access. I worked at Access for a long time. And as you know, Access, people line up to talk to you because if they know you're a recruiter, that's all they want to do. They want to find a job. So I did that, and my passion is helping people in find jobs. And however I can do that, either by, advice on your resume or interview questions or how to prepare, all of that you will hear today. So glad to be here.
Great. Welcome again, Paul. Thank you so much. I can't believe it's been over 20 years since we've known each other, but this just shows you the power of networking. I reached out to Paul and I said, we're having this event. You haven't been back for a while. Let's see what's happening and what your needs are. And he responded immediately. So the power of networking, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more later today. Anna, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you had a busy day as well. Both Anna and Paul have been busy back to back, so I appreciate you taking the hour with us. Please let us hear a little bit more about TMX and the roles that you recruit for and your passion and area that moves you in this field.
Thank you, Sisha. So nice to be here, and I really appreciate the reach out and for joining everybody here today. So welcome. I am hoping you can hear me okay.
Perfect.
Amazing. I had some tech issues, so we're all good now. So yes, as a talent acquisition partner at TMX, also known as the Toronto Stock Exchange, I've been at the company about 3 years, and but my recruitment stems even longer from in the banking world. Worked at one of the big banks, TD, for many many years in a variety of roles. So most of my time, yes, has been in recruitment in the HR space, as that's what I even went to school for. I did a postgraduate in HR. My undergrad is in business. So I started off in the retail branch banking world. So many years spent there in a variety of roles, from customer service to manager of customer service, and then moving into the HR space. And it all sort of connected as I was finding myself at various recruitment functions just naturally, and sort of fell into specifically zoning into recruitment, where my passion is. So I'm here to connect with everyone, to talk a little bit about what TMX does, what roles we hire for, a number of different positions. Sometimes people think just because it's in the finance space that it's only financial roles. Oh my God, there's so many options out there. And we're here to kind of dive into that. So happy to be here. And also, fun fact, born and raised in Toronto. So parents are immigrants. So that's also why I wanted to join this call, because I do have some sort of resemblance to this space, and in terms of understanding being new to Canada, not myself, but through my family. So I thought that would be a nice add-on piece.
Oh, thank you so much, Anna. And I'm also a second generation newcomer to Canada. So, I think that whatever we can do to help share good, reliable information to help, newcomers and students to be successful, it's why we're all here. So, again, thank you so much for being here. For me, growing up in the banking world, originally, I was actually one of my first roles was also in the branch banking network, right out of co-op. So we share that as well. The Toronto Stock Exchange has always been a very exciting place, learning about companies, seeing how the markets, are moving. Especially today, we had interest rate announcements, by Tiff Macklin, Bank of Canada, and it's just always been very interesting. And I always encourage students to learn about the companies, review their financial information. But maybe you could talk to us a little bit about, working at the Toronto Stock Exchange. What are some of the roles that the company is looking to hire for? And in particular, anything you can share with individuals about the Toronto Stock Exchange if they're not really sure what the TSX is.
For sure. So I'll unpack this as quickly as possible, because there's a lot to dive into there. But it's funny because a lot of people are like, what is TMX? And then what is TSX? And then what is MX? So to give you a high level, easy answer, historically, the Toronto Stock Exchange been around since over 170 years. So a long, long time in the market, part of Canada, historical legacy. And then over the years, and most predominantly, I would say in the last 25 years, is where the company expanded. And it wasn't just the Toronto Stock Exchange. Then the Montreal Exchange merged. Then we started buying up other companies. So TMX is that umbrella company. And when you go to our website, you're going to see a number of different groups, subsidiaries that are part of TMX now, that are owned by the company. So, and everything from even having our energy trading division called Trayport TMX in Europe and the UK and Austria market, to even our expansion in the States most recently, where we've been growing. We're a 2,000 person company now and global scale. So, a little bit more presence in the US as of last year, where we've had a couple of acquisitions with more data centered type of companies as we evolve and move towards a more information style company. So just to give you a little high level of, it's not just the exchange, but so much that encompasses all of it in that capital market space. So a lot of the roles, I would say, as a recruiter and part of the HR team, we do hire a lot of tech roles. So yes, maybe 50 to 60%. I don't know if that's our most current stat of all the positions that we hire are tech based. So you'll see your software developers, your IT security, all of that. Think of all, running the exchange, all the trades that happen there. This has to be super regulated and secured. So a lot of risk components in there as well. But then there's also the fun stuff. Well, I shouldn't say the fun stuff, the different things that people are like, oh, I'm in marketing, I'm in HR, I'm in project management. All those things need to happen in the back end with the different teams and the collaboration. Even we have a legal team. So we have so many different corporate services functions within the company, and we also hire interns and new grads. So, recently just posted a position for an internship for, like, let's say a project analyst position, project management scope, trying to understand a little bit about that. We're posting that for the fall term. We hire, I want to say, close to 60 students on a yearly basis. But regular roles that we have right now, I believe we're almost around 60 roles right now live that are posted on our website, and everything is posted in our careers page. So we really do a nice overview of what the job is, what it entails, which group it will support and be part of, and really just a matter of kind of what is your interest, where do you see yourself. And a lot of the times in our job descriptions, we have our must-have sections, which means really those are the skills that we're really looking for. And that's where you want to be able to say, oh, okay, you know what? I got at least 50% of this job description. Like, I can bring a lot to this role. And that's where we would love to see you apply. So happy to kind of talk a little bit more, but I'll pause there.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate that, because some people may not have had a financial services background who are on the call. So that's very useful, and great to hear as well that you are hiring students, grads, and the community at large. There's been a lot of change in economic data and workforce needs and demands. So really encouraging to hear that, you are hiring, and those roles are very diverse. So that's great. So, I hope that everyone is thinking of their questions. I want to also maybe invite Paul. Thank you. Can you please maybe add to what Anna was saying, but from your perspective, what are some of the hot roles or areas that you're looking to fill, Paul? And, maybe you could share or expand on the skills and talent that you need.
Sure. Anna mentioned that, sometimes you can have 50% of the skills for the role. Like, some people could read that job description and say, oh, they wouldn't hire me because I've only got 50%. That's not a reason not to apply, right? You have to apply because, if you go to an interview and someone says, oh, by the way, you don't have, pick a skill, Excel. You can say, I don't have it, but I'm willing to learn. And the last time I did a job and I didn't have, like, pick another skill, Word, that's what I did. I spent a weekend, I learned it, and by the time I got back to the job, I was very proficient in that skill. So it's not because you don't have the skill you shouldn't apply. So what kind of roles do we have? Like, Anna, we hired 65 students, new grads, I shouldn't say students, new grads, in the last 4 months. And the reason for that, we had a special project from RBC, and they said, hey, can you guys staff up this project for us? It was supposed to be 3 months, got extended to 6 months. So that is not like an everyday thing, because in consulting, you're being hired as a subject matter expert to a client, and the client is one of the top 5 banks. So you have to come in, show up running. But sometimes we do have roles. I do have business analyst roles with 1 to 2 years experience. I never look at, because you had the skill or the training in a different country, that you can't apply that skill here. The skill is the skill. The technology is the same. So don't ever think, oh, I had the skill or the experience or the certification in a different country, so it may not matter. You shouldn't let that hold you back. So we have everything. We have project managers, we have BAs, we have, our biggest thing right now is cybersecurity. Quite a few, quite a few openings in cybersecurity. Right now, one of the top 5 banks, I'm looking for 10 cybersecurity IT controls / audit. So it's cybersecurity / audit / IT controls.
Mhm.
So there are lots of openings. We never post any positions because it's a relationship we have with our clients that we don't post. But you can always reach out. Reach out to me if you think you have mostly the jobs I hire for are IT positions. Like Anna says, she hires mostly IT. We do have some odd jobs, but mostly I have generalist positions. So what's a generalist? It's someone who can come in and do just about anything, right?
Mhm.
They can do PowerPoint, they can do BA work, they can do a little bit of PM. You can do PCO. What a PCO is, a project control officer. And what that is a support role to a project manager. So you don't have to manage the projects, but you support. You do all the Excel, you do all the PowerPoint presentation, you attend all the meetings, you take all the minutes. There's one of the applications in Microsoft is Microsoft Project. So you have to record everything, all the expenses, everything to that project. You have to report it on Microsoft Project. The good thing about a PCO position, a project control officer position, is that it leads you up to a PM role, a project manager's role. So great opportunities, lots of learning, good opportunities for progression. So looking forward to see how I can help any of you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul, and thank you so much, Anna. And just for clarification, what is a BA, Paul?
Business analyst, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Some different companies have different acronyms. So I just want to make
I'm
sure.
sorry.
That's
Sometimes
okay.
you're so used to it that you just
Yes.
brought it out. Sorry about that.
No, no, that's okay. That's
I will be
okay.
careful.
Thank you so much for confirming that. So, in terms of the application and the roles, you've talked a little bit about that. You've talked about transitional skills or transferable skills, which I think is very helpful. I think it's also encouraging that you talked about, you don't need to have 100% that's on the list to apply, that you can have a percentage, maybe 50, 60%, and still apply because you're looking at the talent pool. Also, understanding that you're also doing a lot of hiring for, top banks, and that they're welcome to reach out to you, Paul. That's really, really generous considering your volume. So I really appreciate that. So when people do reach out to you, I'm going to continue with you, Paul, on this, and then follow up with Anna. When people do reach out to you, what are some of the, I would say, tips, that help candidates stand out when they are reaching out to you? And also, what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing, whether that be them reaching out to you, on LinkedIn or on their applications?
So one of the things I see a lot of applicants make is that they have like one resume for every job that they apply to. It doesn't work like that. You have to customize your resume to every position. So let's say for something quite easy, let's say pick a role, an administrative assistant role. You got to have the top 5 keyword skills that I'd be looking for. And I'll explain in a minute what a keyword search is. So for an admin position, I'm just picking admin, that's a simple one. You have to have good Excel skills, Word, PowerPoint. You've got to set up audio, video. You have to set up, you got to do time sheets and major expense account, because everyone comes and dump their expense accounts on your desk. So those are 5 or 6 skills. Those skills have to be repeated on your resume. So you have 3 jobs, or you have those skills have to show up. So when I do a search on the, we have an applicant tracking system, and for an admin assistant, you will get 200-300 resumes. So I'm not reading 200 or 300 resumes. I'm going to do a keyword search for those 6 skills that I just mentioned. By the way, this goes for every single job, right? So for those 6 skills, I'm only looking at the top 15, 20 resumes. It takes us, 20 seconds to read a resume. So what is it you're going to do to make your resume stand out? So you have to have those skills. And the people that reached out to me the last time I did the session, I said to them, you have to have a section right under your objective to say related skills. So in that section, what you're doing is saying, these are my related skills for this job. And you highlight those. If the job says you need to have, 2 years of administrative assistant experience, I have 4 years, or I have 3 years, or 2 years, whatever that is. And you have to make that right up front in your front cover page, not cover page, but in front of your resume, to say, I have those skills. And then those skills, again, will repeat in every job that you have. So now when I'm doing a keyword search, I'm seeing that those 5 skills show up over and over and over. And the chances are of you getting an interview by see those skills showing up are very good. So that's one way of making your resume look good. Doing your research on the company, I don't like it when I do, like today I had 6 interviews. If I do an interview, and the first thing I say to the person, why did you apply to the job? What is it about Optimus that you like? And then they say, I have no idea what your company is all about. I was hoping that you would tell me. Now, why would you want to work here if you don't even know what a company is all about? It's like going to TMX and say, I have no idea what the stock market is all about. That's not the right answer. So I'm hoping that, I'm sure people do it today, that you have to. There's no other choice. And then I would say, what's your motivation to look for a new job? What's your motivation to want to come and work for us? And you have to have an answer. You have to rehearse those answers. You have to have your 20-second elevator speech that it's right on, and you can't fumble. You got to have that stuff ready and waiting, and be prepared to tell me that. I'm talking too much. I know this is we're gonna
No,
run.
this is honestly, Paul, this is what we need to know because, at Devant, we have tools and tips. We do career sessions. So you're validating a lot of the information and advice, that is available in our career courses and our online getting hired courses and events. So this is really important. You're in the decision-making seat, and we want to make sure we're giving people good information that will help make the matches, right? So you're right on the mark. I really appreciate it. All that information is super useful. Anna, I'd love to hear from you as well. What are candidates doing that are really impressing you, whether they're reaching out to you on LinkedIn or on their application? And the flip side, what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing? And in particular, what about individuals who are new to Canada or, maybe are career switchers? What is working well, and what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing?
Thank you for that. So I will echo Paul's comments that definitely learning about the company is kind of table stakes nowadays, to really understand not just what the company does, but the culture, the values. All of that is really important to a company nowadays. It's not anymore just going to that website and seeing those like stock images of this is what we do and here apply. So I'm going to take it to the next level and say, if you're really interested in knowing a little bit more about the company that opened the window to it, it's LinkedIn following the company themselves and the people there. Like, what are they doing? They're usually showcasing what is happening in real time, actual events that are happening at the company. That kind of speaks to the culture. Oh, I'd like to work there. They do X, Y, and Z. Like we had a summer social like last week at our office space, and that was organized by the company. The entire company was invited to come in. There was a DJ, there was food, there was drinks, it was a social event that we do annually to kick off summer, literally just for the sake of that. But there is more than just that. It's that Why do we do that? We really like to bring people together, and we're a hybrid culture. So we really come into the office 2 to 3 times a week. So that is also a key piece. That, do you want to work in the office or do you want to be remote? These are things you got to look at yourself to say, what is it that I would like to do? And I got to find that mirror image match in the companies that I apply to. So a lot of people that do reach out on LinkedIn, I like that they reference a certain job posting that they saw. It's nicely, organized, a nice intro to say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Apply to the position. Hopefully you can help me direct me in the right way. It will be helpful because not also, remember, we have a big team in the back end that supports that, from the managers to the recruiters. And we really try to tie in everyone. So if I see a profile that it's not a role that I'm actually recruiting for, I'll flip it to the team. We have like a process in place where we share it all to an email and say, have a look, keep an eye out for this application. They already applied, reached out on LinkedIn. Those are extra pieces that elevate and say, okay, extra eyes are going to be seeing this resume. Not only the key search piece is important, we're having those skills transfer, clearly the resume has to be tailored to the job description. Do those skills really reflect what you have, and does that reflect the role? But also how you tailor your resume as well, like in the organization flow and style. Seeing resumes that are more than 2 pages nowadays, it's long and it's a lot, right? So everything is bite-sized, quick, punchy, really making it relative. And people ask me sometimes, do cover letters matter? Depends. I'm not going to rule it out and say completely no. I'm seeing it shift a little bit to the side, but then I'll have my communications department say, Anna, we're posting a role and I need to see a cover letter. I want to see how they're writing, because that's actually going to be maybe a case component to the interview process, to see in live, write a memo for this and this, or this is a report that has to go out to the staff. What would you say? So those are key pieces to think of as well, to not just like put it on the side. Always have one in your back pocket of what you'd like to have, how you would like to approach, and make a statement about what it is that who you are, right, and what you've done. I want to mention every company is a little different when it comes to the screening piece of resumes. We have incorporated AI. So I'm sure that's an exciting piece and tool that a lot of companies are starting to leverage and use. And so we've incorporated AI in a sense that it's not for every single role. It's more for our high volume roles, those entry level positions that are a little bit more higher turnover, let's say, because logistically speaking, someone comes in for a year or two and then they're ready to move on, right? And so that's totally normal. And so that's why we call them high volume roles, where there's a lot of turnover, but in a good way. And so when that happens, there's a lot more applications that come in, and it can go north of 500, almost 1,000 sometimes, for those type of positions, because everybody wants their foot in the door. It will be that administrative clerical type of position. And so when we've embedded AI, what we've done, and again, every company is going to be doing something different, they'll ask a series of questions, really simple, but more so behavioral based questions. So there would be 3 questions. It won't be video, but it will be voice, and you get to practice. So it's not right off the bat, ready, go, and give us the answer, but it gives you some time to think about it. But start practicing them in general, because you don't know which application you're going to get when you go onto the website and you're going to apply. So it's nice to have that sort of, practiced, so that you understand, well, how do you work within teams? That could be a question, right? They're very simple behavioral style questions. And if you just Google top behavioral based questions, I think that's a good way to start. And then that way you're kind of ready for those questions. And then, yes, we do get a score at the end of how well the applicant does. But what I want to stress is that it doesn't kick the person out if they don't reach a certain score. We still are able to view the resume. Their application is still in the portal. It just gives us something else to layer on and work with. And it's not like a make it or break it, right? So we use it supplementary. So that's how we're doing things when it comes to AI. And so we haven't shifted and moved completely to that for all of our roles, but some of them.
Okay. And
Can I just quickly explain
please,
what a behavioral interview question is? I
please
know
go
Anna
ahead,
mentioned
Paul.
it. So this is what it is. I'm a certified behavioral interviewing instructor. That's why I want to add this piece. So what it is, it's behavior predicts, right? If you did something in the past, you will do it in the future. So when we ask a question, give me an example of or tell me of a situation when we're asking you to go back into your history and give us a real life example. It's not a hypothetical answer. It's something that you actually did because behavior predicts. If you did it in the past, you'll do it in the future. So when Anna mentioned the behavioral questions, that's what we are looking for in an answer. So we say, tell me of an example when you did this. We are looking for a real life work related example and come prepared with those type of answers.
Thank you, Paul. That was perfectly said. Exactly that.
Thank you so much. And I also just want to understand the process for candidates as well. So, Anna, I was going to ask about the process. So thank you so much for sharing that. Like, how many steps is your process? Like, how many interviews do they have? You mentioned also like maybe some tests, like a writing test. Can you just talk about like the process in terms of the steps as well as from beginning to end? How long does it take to like fill a role generally?
Those are great questions. So we've been tracking our positions in the last year. Let's say we have to also check our measure of success as well. So on an average for our roles in the last year, we've been doing really fantastic. We're just under 40 days to fill a role. So that's
Okay.
really, really great. Now,
Mm-hmm.
mind you, are there anomalies? Because if there's a more senior position, it takes longer because there's more interviews in the cycle. Now, I wish it was cookie cutter to say, yes, this is what we do every single time. However, standard process, 100%, somebody from our HR team will be doing the first round screening process. So after the application goes through, within that week or two, interviews or screenings take place. And we love to do video screens as opposed to telephone because it is that first point of contact, and video is so prevalent now that why not do the video right off the bat? So we do that 15, 20 minutes, get to know the individual, and we have already done our work to have met with the managers. They're connecting with us, they're picking the resumes with us. We've done a debrief, we kind of know what they need. So high level, we're already in. And we're supporting that business on the regular to understand what is it that they're looking for baseline. Once they pass that section, and if they are successful and they're able to communicate well, present, and show their enthusiasm, passion, really, if there's a match with the role and the individual, then it goes into that first round with the management team. Whether it's the manager that does it first round or their teammates, really up to the manager and their style as how we want to go about and do it. At least 2 rounds, that's sort of our baseline of having that interview happen. And sometimes if we're quick with time, we can do a panel and we can get it all done in one shot. Great. If not, then we separate it. When we
Okay.
throw a case, depends on the role. And that's going to be really the most recent case we've had was actually even for one of our intern roles. Surprisingly enough, it can be as a junior role or a senior role where it was specific to accounting and some basic accounting skills. So there was an Excel and it was a live case, meaning please share your screen. This is the question that you're going to get at the moment. You have 45 minutes. Somebody from our HR team will be on the Zoom call with you and just solve the case live and have your screen shared. And then you submit your results at the end. Other times it could be a case of taking away the information and maybe doing a presentation deck of something, but we give you like 48 hours to do it, take it away and send it back. And so when you email it back, then that interview that happens after, you'll have some time, like 10 minutes to present your case and what you actually, created during that time. So it's a little bit of a blend, and it's really not the same for every single business line.
Okay.
And last but not least, we are really trying as much as possible to do an in-person interview at the tail end. Like if there is the final round, then we would
Mhm.
do an in-person if everyone is available, which would be nice.
Okay. Okay, great. That's super helpful because I get that question a lot, and I know different companies. I see some hearts, very useful information. Paul, I'd love to hear from you as well. I know you work with different clients, mostly IT, mostly financial services. Um, and I want to hear from you as well. Like, I don't know if it's possible to give us an idea of the process because I'm imagining it's quite different, but I'll leave it up to you if you can help,
Yeah.
people understand the process.
Yeah, sure. It is very different. I interviewed a candidate yesterday. I brought him in today to meet the hiring manager, and he starts on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So it's not, but that's not always the case. Like we have like capital markets and treasury roles because I only hire for the banks, right? And we have a lot of like, a lot of capital markets, a lot of PMs, project managers at the client. So those will take like, 2 weeks max.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever the banks reach out to us, it's not that I have a job that's coming up in 6 weeks. It's never, that's in consulting, that's never the case. It's like, I have an opening. I want to finish the staff right away. So find me someone, and we will get, a couple of, sentences for a job description. But in our case, it's very, very fast paced. It's like, sometimes on Friday, they tell you that, someone left the project on Friday, and can we find someone on Monday?
Wow.
So it's extremely fast paced because if you think about it, I'm not going to give out the rates, but if I pay you, $50 an hour, pick a number, we have to there's margins on that, right? So for every day that that job is not staffed, we're
Mm-hmm.
losing, in this case, if it is a $50 an hour job,
Mm-hmm.
that's $400 a day times how many days, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to us, you don't want to leave money on the table. You got to find someone like right away. So in
Okay.
our case, the windows are a lot narrower, but we do same thing like Anna said. We do teams. Final interviews got to come in. We do case studies, uh, quite a few, same kind of stuff that Anna mentioned. But yeah, but it's a lot faster. Like the guy who I hired today, when I interviewed him yesterday, I got him to do the case study. I got him to submit it this morning. So it's all, I told him if you want this job to start on Monday because he wasn't working, this is what you have to do. And he did it. He did it. And most people do because, the job market, somewhat in some industries is a bit soft. So people want the job and they're going to do whatever you ask them um, to deliver.
Thank you so much, Paul. And I had a couple resumes sent to me as well recently, and it was interesting because some of the individuals on their resume, their phone number had no answering machine. So please make sure you have a customized voicemail and you follow through on your checking on your voicemail, or you have some way for recruiters to reach you. So I just want to put that plug in right away.
Yeah.
That's basic.
So Shane, and you know what? Talking about voicemails, when you're looking for a job, I mean, it's cute to have your kids on the background and you talk, you have your kids saying, mommy and daddy are not home. Those are cute. But when you're looking for a job, it's not so cute. You got to have a professional voicemail. You got to set up your voicemail. You got to set up your, be available, have your calls forwarded if you're waiting on a call from a recruiter. Those stuff like, I'll tell you what, all things equal, and Anna can tell you this, all things equal, if I have two candidates that are the same and I'm calling one and he didn't answer and I call the second one and she answered, guess who's going to get the job,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, thanks for sharing that because that's sort of my pet peeve. It's like, oh my God, I can't leave you a voicemail and try to help with you. So just please have your voicemails on. So I'm just looking at the questions. I really want to move to the candidate questions. And again, thank you everyone for submitting your questions. Audrey, I'm going to go with yours first because I know you also emailed us earlier. So the question that Audrey has is, what advice do you have for people who might seem a little overqualified when seeking a more entry level job? So as a newcomer, this is a common challenge, trying to get any job or entry level job, but you may seem overqualified. What advice do you have for candidates like that? Either one of you. Yeah.
I can start
Mhm.
off. So it is a fine line because you do have so much to bring to the table and you don't want to shy away from that. However, it does come at a disadvantage at times. And a prime example where there was an individual that had so much experience, and it was an entry level position that when presented to the manager, we were looking at some of the applications. They're like, this person is not going to stay here for a long time. Like, their resume speaks to, they really should be looking for something else. It doesn't align well. We're trying to look at it from a perspective. If you look at our side of things, is that you want to be engaged in the role as well. And you may not find it as exciting. You actually, in like 2 months, you're gonna be like, this is it. That's all we want. And then from the business side, we may be like, okay, well, this isn't a good match because we need somebody to stay in this role for a good year or two. So there is a fine line. Perhaps again, in the resume itself, because that's all you have right now at that moment to sell yourself. Maybe don't include every single, tailor again the resume to the role and highlight why is it that position you want right now. Maybe you've done something similar and kind of use that at the forefront to highlight. Again, don't discredit all of your other information, but it's how you position it and word it and want to come across. I don't know, Paul, if you have anything else to add to.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Anna. Just tame it down a bit, because if you were a VP or a director or a senior manager and you're applying for an entry level, we're not going to look at, pay that much close attention to you because we have so many other candidates. So, because we know that you're going to come in, take the job, and you're going to leave as soon as you get something in your field, right? So, tame it down a bit and put the related skills. I, I keep referring back to the related skills. So it's a section under your resume. Say, these are the skills that I have for this job. And these are my related skills. It's like 6 or 7 bullets. Don't make it a page. It's like 6 or 7 bullets. These are the related skills for the job. And focus on that. And focus on, what the job, like I said, every resume, every job you apply to, you must have a different resume. That resume has to be tailored to the job. Because if the job is entry level and you are a VP or you're a senior manager, we may not take a closer look to your resume, to your profile for that role when other people have got 3 to 5 years and you have 10 to 15, right?
Thank you. Thank you. What stands out to you most when reviewing applications or LinkedIn profiles?
LinkedIn profiles, it I've seen a couple of LinkedIn profiles with like, sorry, excuse me, a husband and wife or kids and stuff. That's not a LinkedIn profile. A LinkedIn profile is a very professional. The whole environment of LinkedIn, they're very professional people, and they want to make sure that everything is professionally done. And the better your profile is, the more chances I'm going to look at it. It got your phone number, your related experience, and a little summary about you. It's really important to have a proper LinkedIn profile, a good picture, good background. Someone look at it and say, wow, I'm impressed, right? So that's number one. You have to have a good profile.
Okay, thank you.
I would agree, and also organization too, to when you present. So I've had a situation that just came to mind where there was a LinkedIn profile and they had all of in detail, their experiences. So from the dates to the locations to the jobs, the titles, that was great, but it didn't match the resume. The dates and times were like, no, it just didn't align. And I'm like, well, it should. I mean, you were working there at certain times. And so the more clear and organized you are, was it a contract? Say it was a 1 year contract. Fantastic. That's what that means. End dates, again, just putting in the year, worked there in 2021 means nothing. It needs to have sort of, again, start time, end time, what country was it in? Were you a remote employee also? Were you supporting globally? Were you supporting that region? The more detail you give, it's better. I think it just gives a good snapshot of, and then you can speak to it, of course, but it just nicely organized. I think that's what's really key. And following different groups and companies, like, just shows that you're engaging and, looking at, again, from that what is it that interests you? Always look back to what are you interested in? That's what you should be following, right? So that's sort of, you're building your network of then people and companies and places. So keeping it professional, and again, yes, not the personal side of things. There's a fine line, because the companies, like I mentioned before, LinkedIn profile companies show about us and the events that we do. So those are all fun things that happen, but in a corporate setting, and how it ties and relates to, this is our, fun event outing at work with our colleagues. It's once it dives out of that, it's now no longer no longer a professional space, and it just doesn't, it's not the platform. So
Very good advice. Thank you so much. We have 10 more minutes, so I just want to make sure I can go through. I'm not going to ask some of the questions that I feel they've already answered, everyone. So I'm going to go to a specific example. I see someone here who's got 10 years of experience in real estate private equity covering Asia, now pursuing a diploma in business accounting in Toronto. While I'm interested in building rapport and getting advice, giving advice to people, I'm very interested in investment banking. How can I stand out from applicants, and what level of position should I apply? Any thoughts
Uh,
on this candidate? So someone with 10 years of experience.
Again, I would, look at look at a job description and see how your previous experience aligns to that position. 10 years experience is, I mean, most of the jobs that if you see an investment banker, they would expect you to have 5 to 10, right? So that's not that, challenging to say I've got 10 years experience. That is almost perfect for an investment banker, because if you're doing investment banking, I don't want someone managing my money who's got 2 years of experience.
Mhm.
So 10 years is perfect for an investment banker. I would just, go for it, look at those things. Again, match your resume to the requirements of the role. I think that's a great opportunity for an investment banker, opportunity that advertised.
Great, thank you. And I'm going to ask you this next one. What does the hiring timeline look like for a 2026 new grad role? So when do you advertise and publicize and start your recruitment for next year grads?
okay, great question. So to clarify, so we hire interns on an internship cycle. Now, we don't have an associate program or new grad program specifically. So a little different from some companies that do have, and this is a good question because a lot of people ask, what's an associate? So usually, not all the time, but usually when you see an associate in the title, it can be geared a little bit more to those new grad roles. So because we don't have something like that that's specific to new grads, our positions are a little scattered. So, but what's cool is that when we post our jobs for interns, we incorporate and accept in new grads within that 6 to 8 month period. So if you're a new grad within the year, still
Mhm.
apply to an internship position because you have just graduated. So we like to post our roles. We're not posting too far in advance. We post 3 to 4 months prior to start date. And what does start date look like? So to give an example, summer is our biggest hiring. And that's also coincided with now all of those people that have graduated. So if summer is going to happen, quote unquote, summer in May, it's our spring summer timeline, then that's a good 4 months of May, June, July, August of working. We always try to work back 4 months prior to that. So January, February, the beginning of the year is when postings will go up for that launch of the summer. So that's how we would do it at our company. Can't speak to everybody, but when I was at TD before, and a lot of the big banks, they have maybe shifted now over the years in terms of their timelines. They may be a little more aggressive and posting even more in advance. I recall they would do it like a year in advance, like this September would probably be for next September, right? So again, it's a little bit harder to know every company's, but that's how we do it at TMX. And then sometimes there's the odd roles that come up, and we just stay in the posting open to new grads, and a position just came up. So there's one role right now, literally as we speak. I posted it today.
Okay.
It's a 3-month contract for a new grad in the business commerce econ type program. So,
Mhm.
and it's an analyst position. So again, entry
Great.
level, 3 months, and we didn't follow any specific timeline for that. It just the business need came up. So that's an example of how things can be shifting and moving. And always, if the companies that you're interested in, keep follow them and put like even a reminder to have their jobs sent to your email. There's a way to do that so that you get email notifications of jobs that are at that company, so that you always get alerted of what's up and coming.
Great. Well, thank you both so much. Very encouraging, to learn about the process, the skills, the opportunities. You will get access to this recording. So I see some questions that have already been answered. So just wanted to highlight, and please put your hands together to thank both Anna and Paul so much for, sharing your information, your advice, your experiences with us. So happy to have you both here. I know I learned a lot as well. Just really, really excited to get this information out to so many job seekers, newcomers, international students, and students across Canada. I wanted to just highlight there were some questions for grads. Um, please reach out to Anna and Paul. They've both, invited you and given you information on how to source and connect with them. But as well as, the current roles, networking really helps you to crack the hidden job market. So make sure you see in the chat here a lot of other students and job seekers introduce themselves. Please reach out to each other. We have a graduating student career conference. If you are graduating this year, please put it in the chat. What's your area of graduation and your graduation date? We are inviting you all to the Graduating Students Career Conference on June 18th. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are 1 hour slots all day. We have a number of industry panels, networking cafes. We're also going to be sharing some insight information around alumni offers and supports for all of you. And then we also have a graduation celebration on Twitch in the evening from 6 to 9. So, really excited to share this with you. CIBC is one of our sponsors. They will also be talking to you about managing money, investments. You'll also hear from the city of Brampton on gig economy and jobs that are available for freelance as well. So again, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you found this useful. I see some really positive questions and feedback here. I also just want to end by saying thanks again, everyone, so much. And also for introducing yourselves and joining. Any last minute questions, etc., that were not answered, I'm definitely going to ask them on June 18th and continue with our Q&A. Our next recruiter Q&A will be in August, and we are going to have someone there from Simple, a recruiter who has hiring opportunities as well for internships and co-op, as well as some other recruiters I will be announcing. So thank you guys so much. Best of luck to you. You are not alone. As you can see, recruiters are real people, although they are using, technology to help with the volumes. You can see that they care and that they're trying to get the best candidates for the jobs. Make sure you do your research. Make sure that you're professional, both online and offline. And all the best to you in your future success, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thanks,
Sister,
Anna.
can I plug
Sure.
2 jobs? Can I quickly
Please,
plug 2 jobs?
please
I
go
have
ahead.
a I have an IT I have 2 IT recruiter openings. If someone is an IT recruiter with 3 to 5 years, by all means. And do you hire across the country? I have a bunch of openings in Halifax.
Absolutely. So our students are across Canada, our newcomers are across Canada.
Okay.
Please.
I have insurance advisors. I know Anna worked at TD, but these roles are for TD, and
Oh,
I have a bunch for
oh, wow.
Halifax.
For Halifax. Okay, that's
Yes.
really great to know. And so, Paul, what I would share as well, as you're doing these, please reach out to me too, because we do have a technology where we can help you do speed interviews and we
Okay.
can do all the scheduling for you. But if you do have these opportunities, feel free to reach out to me and I will broadcast it to our partners in Halifax for you in particular.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anna, any last parting words that you'd like to share with the group?
No, this was fantastic. These were really great questions. I hope that we were helpful in some shape or form. And Sasha, just like you said, it's just a matter of continuously networking, really using that network. One person will open the door to the next. Keep positive, revamping your resume, stay connected on LinkedIn. Something will open and something will work out. So stay connected on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Nice
Have a good
meeting you,
night.
Anna.
Nice meeting you too, Paul.
Take care.